Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Local Chat International Edition. That's right, we've sent our foreign correspondent all the way over to the great country of Japan. He's out there getting those tariffs going, getting them in the hands of the Japanese people, because they're paying them, folks, so we can get our Nintendo Switch 2s for very cheap. Ian Gibson, konnichiwa.
おはようございます。はじめまして。私はイエンです。アメリカ人です。どうぞよろしく。
That's pretty good.
ありがとうございます。
How I actually, genuine question, how much Japanese have you been speaking?
A little bit. I'm not good at forming sentences, but the phrases are definitely helping. The one sentence that I've been saying a couple times, and when I say it, I get a pop. I get a pop out of the locals.
Oh, pop.
Is when I'm eating something or they hand me a sample and I go, oh, oishi desu, and they're like, oh, oishi desu, which means like this is tasty, and then
child.
But where I think it's been helping me is reading, because I can read hiragana and katakana, but I'm very slow. So it takes me like 40 seconds to read like a decent sized word and put together what it is. Mm-hmm. But they use a lot of kanji here. Kanji is like the Chinese symbols, like I don't want to call them pictographs, but that type of thing.
Gotcha.
And I don't know nearly enough of that. So that's been a struggle. But we had, sorry, Maggie's just staring at me the whole time.
She has nothing better to do.
You mean throwing shade at my people?
Not your people. Different people. If anything, your people should be mad at them people. Okay. But anyways,
let's dig into that. Let's really dig into that.
Where we sat down to order it, and I looked at the menu. And of course, I could just Google Translate it, but I was able to read it and understand what it was. So I would look at it and be like, "Oh, that's udon, that's ramen." Mm-hmm. And then there was one time we sat down at a cafe, and I read out the word. It took me 40 seconds, but I read out the word "hotokeki," and I was like, "Oh, hotcakes! It's hotcakes." So the lady came over, and I was like, "Hotokeki," and she was like, "Oh, hotokeki, hotokeki." Yes,
that's so adorable.
And then there was another one. I can't remember what it was, but it was kasu garlic udon. So it was like 15 characters. And I spent like a minute and a half reading it, understanding it, and knowing how to pronounce it. And I ordered it, and the guy was like, "Hi." It was great. So it's like the learning has paid off where I feel like I am using it, but I still have a whole lot to learn. So it's useful and helpful. Mm-hmm. I think I am going to continue learning Japanese because we've already decided we're going to come back at some point. I'm seeing cheap flights all the time. We may come back this fall or winter. So I think it'll just be useful for me to continue slowly learning Japanese.
Yeah. Especially because then you could play Yakuza and really, really soak it all in without having to read the subtitles.
Oh, yes. Speaking of Yakuza, I posted in the Discord, but it's a perfect video game moment for this trip. So we landed, we had basically one night in Osaka and in Dotonbori, which is like a neon district. And I didn't know anything about it because another member of the group has been like booking the hotels and setting up like the plans and stuff like that. So we get there and I start walking around and there's like a canal with a bridge and there's all these neon lights and bars and stuff. And I was like, I turned to, I guess it's my like cousin or one. I turned to him and I was like, "You ever played the Yakuza games? This feels just like Yakuza." And it really did. And then I went, and then that night in the hotel, I was like, "Where is Yakuza 0 set?" And they're like, "Oh, it's set in Tokyo, this neighborhood." And then it's set in Osaka, in Dotonbori. And I was like, "That's why, like, I'm in the neighborhood where it's set." And it was so cool to have that, like, that crazy moment where we talked about it before, where all of a sudden you're in a location in the real world that a video game is based off of. And you don't realize it, but you recognize it because of the video game and how much time you had in that location previously. So that was a fun moment.
That's fun. How were the flights? Did you watch Tora Tora Tora?
I did not. Okay, so look, we got time. Let me tell you the tale. I'll give you the abbreviated version of it. So basically, the trip door to door. From our house, like leaving our house to getting to our hotel in Osaka, 24 hours, right? Which is not bad. That was kind of the lowest we could get. It was like 21 hours of like travel time, but then you add on either side, 24 hours. So we get Jacksonville to DC, no problem there. We get on the plane in DC because it's DC to Tokyo. We get on the plane in DC. They push back from the gate, and then we sit there for 2 hours going through
Damn.
two different mechanical issues. They were like, "Oh, there's a warning light on. We just have to do some paperwork," and then they're like, "Okay, now we can't get one of the engines to start, so we're going to try to manually start it." So we're sitting there for 2 hours, like literally just on the taxiway just beyond the gate, and they kept going back and forth from the gate, being like, "We're gonna try again. Oh, we're gonna try again." So then they're like, after 2 hours, they're like, "Okay, they need to take the plane to the hangar, so everybody get off the plane.
Damn.
We'll let you know what's going to go on." Get off the plane, and they're like, "Hey, 8-hour delay. So your 12:10 flight is now at 8 p.m. tonight." So we go to a lounge, we hang out for a while, we come back, we get on the plane, 8-hour delay. We push back from the gate, sitting on the taxiway, and they're like, "Hey, turns out because of our delay, like basically our original flight plan doesn't work for the emergency alternate airports, so we need to put more fuel in the plane." So then we had to spend 30 minutes getting fuel on like a taxiway pad, like not at the gate. Then we finally take off 3-4 hours into the flight. And, I have no proof of this, but I'm sitting there going, this fucking plane has had 2 mysterious mechanical issues already, like today.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it's the same plane. I'm like, I don't think we're going to make it, and 3-4 hours into the flight, they come over and they're like, folks, we've had to cut over to our backup electrical system, which means we're burning fuel faster than we expected and will not be making it to Japan. So we will be landing in San Francisco.
Oh my
And so we have to
God.
land in San Francisco. We get off the plane. It's 12:30 Pacific time, which is like 3:30 for us. We get off the plane and they're like, "Don't worry, folks. We got you booked on a new flight, 8:30 in the morning. It's 8 hours away. Here's meal vouchers and a hotel." And I was like, at that point, I was completely done. Like I was like, I'd barely been eating, hadn't been sleeping. Like my anxiety's on peak, and I'm just like, I can't hang out in the airport. I can't get 2 hours of sleep and get back on a plane and do like an 11-hour trip. So I pushed our flight 2 hours. I got them to get us on a later flight. We went to the hotel, got like 4 hours of sleep, came back, got on that plane. It did eventually land in Tokyo.
Hell yeah.
So we get to Tokyo. The whole time we had a connecting flight from Tokyo to Osaka planned. But there's something about the connection between United Airlines and ANA Airlines, which is the Japanese airlines, where like we had to check into both of them separately. And as our original flight was getting updated, the ANA flight would slowly update. But at some point, the ANA flight disappeared, like almost as if we were a no-show, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't care, because what it meant was when we landed in Japan, we just took the metro to the to Shinagawa Station and hopped on the bullet train and took the bullet train for 2 hours 20 minutes. Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
it was 2 hours 20 minutes. We got up to 186 miles per hour. It was awesome. It was really enjoyable. And it was super cozy because we booked the reserve seats, which aren't like first class seats, but I think they were like, I think we paid $100 each, but you're going from Tokyo all the way down to Osaka. It was like really big seats. You had like 3 feet of leg room. It was crazy. It was really, really nice. So then we got here late, had dinner, walked around Dotonbori a little bit, and then went to bed. But yeah, it was supposed to be a 24-hour trip. It turned into a 48-hour trip. Exactly.
Damn, that's awful.
Yeah.
I hate airport stuff, but especially airport stuff on an already long flight is just
exactly
even more of a nightmare. Yeah, that's exciting. You made me think of the high-speed trains in Italy were awesome. Those were super fun.
They were really good
to go on.
Yeah, these are pretty similar to them. It's just I think the first class is like cheaper in Japan. And so that was the only difference, was that like we got first class here, whereas in Italy it was a little bit more expensive, so we wouldn't have gotten it there. But yeah, same concept. You're at the station, just buy a ticket, hop on there every 30 minutes. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry your flight took so long. So you've been there since Fuck, what's today? Thursday. You've been in Japan since Sunday?
Monday night.
Monday.
We were supposed to land Sunday night. We landed Monday night.
I'm trying to factor the delay plus time difference.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So it's Friday for me. So we've had 3 full days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, I saw you saw a giant Gundam head.
Yes, yeah. So I'll give you my itinerary real quick. So Tuesday, like I said, we didn't really get to see Osaka because that was kind of the day we lost. So we went from Osaka up to Koyasan, which is a mountain village. There's like 117 Buddhist temples there, and a lot of them are also inns, like traditional inns with like tatami mats and all that. So we spent the night there. It was just like a beautiful mountain village with a lot of Buddhist temples and stuff. That really cool graveyard with 500,000 people there. Sorry, Maggie wants me to mention. So the mountain village is called Koyasan, and we kept seeing this little orange hat boy everywhere, and we were like, he's got to be the mascot.
Orange hat boy.
And I'll show you to him. This is him. Okay, and I can't get it to focus, but if you can read that, it's Koya-kun. So Koya-kun is the little Buddhist monk mascot from Koya-san. And so we got this little souvenir to cover her. I won't show it to you, but this has all the goshuin, which is like if you go to the temples, you pay like $3, and they'll like do a calligraphy and stamp on a page.
That's cool.
So then when you're done, you read it out, and you can be like, I went to this temple, this temple, this temple, this temple. Yeah. So we did Koyasan that night and some of the next day, and then we went to Osaka. We went back to Osaka, did a little bit of sightseeing there, saw the Gundam head, which was nice to just kind of come across that. Then we went to Kyoto. So yesterday was all day Kyoto, and there's no easy way to say this. I know Haluchi is going to be upset at me. I owe an apology, but I did wear a kimono all day yesterday walking around Kyoto. There are pictures. I have not decided yet if they will be shared.
You can at least send it to me.
I'm already sending you plenty of pictures to take care of yourself, right? You don't need more. Talk about this, you have to earn those. So we all rented kimonos and we walked around. Like, I don't know what to call it, but the eastern side of Kyoto has a big temple complex and like a pilgrimage path. So we did that, and it was really crowded, but they had a whole bunch of like, it was like really crowded, older streets, lots of stores, but where most places would be like shitty tourist and like shitty tourist stores, this one was actually really nice because it was a lot of local shops, or like, here's Kyoto mochi, here's Kyoto matcha, how they make it. And even the souvenir shops had a lot of cool little stuff. Like there was a shop that was selling chopsticks, like nice chopsticks, and they're like, we'll engrave your name on it for free. Yeah. So it was like nice local tourist stuff. Not just like, Las Vegas, the Strip, shitty shops.
Right. It wasn't like a big company behind it. It was just people doing tourist stuff.
No, and we started joking because we were like, if this was in America or honestly anywhere else in the world, you would see like a Japanese themed McDonald's in the street. You'd see shitty stuff like that. But like you could tell the local city did a good job of being like zoning and restrictions to make sure it wasn't just like a Starbucks and stuff like that. It was a local coffee shop, stuff like that. But yes, that was a lot of fun. So today I think we're going to the monkey forest, which I believe is like a bamboo forest where there's monkeys everywhere.
Are those like the red-faced monkeys? Is it like those ones with the like grayish white fur?
Now that you mention it, I'm not going to say that. I was just going to say the Japanese are kind of racist, so I'm not even sure they mean monkeys when they say monkeys.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what's going to happen. They're a little racist, yeah. But they love gaijin, so I'm good to go. I genuinely, I don't know. I have seen a couple caricatures that are questionable at best, and I was like, oh. And I have seen the Buddhist swastika everywhere, but I'm not holding that against them. I'm holding that against.
Right, it's making a comeback. Making a big
Yeah.
comeback.
It's a little concerning though that they have no. It's not like I'm going to a temple and I see it carved in stone, which I see, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like they're handing out tourist maps and they use the swastika to symbolize where the temples are. So it's a map with a bunch of like reverse swastikas on it, and like, maybe pick a different symbol.
Hey, should we use X to
Instead
mark
of
the
the one
spot
that's
or the
co-opted.
cooler one?
Yeah. Maybe the worst genocide in human history that has co-opted your symbol. Maybe change your symbol, or hide it.
Nah.
Yeah. There's that.
Damn.
But yeah, it's fun. So we got a lot left. Doing a little bit more Kyoto. I've got the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend, and then all next week it's Tokyo. For shopping hasn't been that crazy because we've just been doing touristy stuff so far. But I will tell you, last night we went to a mall. We went to Book Off. So Book Off is like a used book and tech store and movies and DVDs. I really wish I knew Japanese enough to read manga, because upstairs they had manga, but it was all used manga, but it was super cheap. So like they had like the first arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure like bundled into a set. So it was like 20 volumes or 20 books bundled together in this big huge package for $10. So like you could,
Damn.
like they had like already like pre-packaged together, and it was a used bookstore, but it was very well organized. It's just that it was all in Japanese. So but it was really cool. But they had a video game section, so they had a bunch of video games and stuff. They had a Wii U for $30. And I was like, I was tempted, but I was like, the only thing that gets me over my modded Wii is that I get to play the Wii U games on it as well. Like, I don't really do that. Yeah, but and they had a bunch of Gundam stuff and Gunpla, so I did buy. Everybody was making fun of me, but it was worth it. It was a little Gunpla box, right? And it was hands. It was like 15 hands for Gunpla.
Ooh.
But they were all like pointing and doing thumbs up, like doing different things that you don't get in the normal set. And I got that for $3. I was like, perfect, $3. I'll be able to switch this out. So I got that, and I got some of the Gundam books that I showed. They're like MS Build, or they're like 30-page like encyclopedia magazines for that specific Gundam. So it's been fun. I'm hoping to do some more shopping.
Nice, that's awesome. So what do you plan for the rest? I know you have the Grand Prix. For the F1, do you have seats on a specific corner, or do you have like a walk around? How does that work?
So one of the painful things about being a Formula One fan is that it's the most bougie sport in the world. Well, I would say it's the most expensive sport. Yeah, you know what? I'll stand by that. It's very expensive to have a team, to run a team. It's very expensive to get to the races unless you're next to them, and it's very expensive to buy tickets to the race. So Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix, is actually not that bad. I did have to buy my tickets secondhand, which basically marked it up like 50%, because by the time the plans were set, they were already sold out. But I got general admission seats for like $180 US dollars. And general admission is like there's a half of the track where you can still see a lot of the track, but it's mostly like there's no bleachers as far as I know. So it's like grass seats, and there's like a hill, there's a grassy knoll, and sorry, I had to. So you can still see the track, but I don't think there's any screens for me to look at. So it's one of those things where it's like you're not in the nicest area, but you can still see the track and you can walk around.
Do they have chairs, or you sit on the grass?
You sit on the grass. You could bring your chair.
You
if
bring
you want
chairs.
to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so it'll be okay. I think the thing that's going to suck is that there's not a screen in front of me, because basically if there's not a screen, you can't tell what's going on in the other parts of the track. And they're not really doing announcers either, at least at the two other races I've been to. So without that and without the screen, you literally have no idea what's going on. It's just once a lap they come around and you're trying to like figure out who's who and who's in the lead and what's going on. But you miss it on the pit strategy. A yellow flag shows up and you're like, I don't know what happened. Did somebody crash somewhere else? So I'll have my phone to give me that. But that's kind of the main downside of the general admission, is that depending on the track, you may not get good views, but this one will have good views. But you won't have a seat, and you're not going to this one. I won't have screens, but I'll just use my phone for that because I can watch it live on my phone through that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it'll be fun. But the reason why I did that was like the cheapest seated bleacher at like a bad corner, as in like a bad corner is you don't see the cars show up, it's a slow corner, so all you do is you see the car go 30 miles per hour around a corner and then disappear. Like that's a bad corner to me, is that it's just like slow car, you know. Those were like $300. Those were the cheapest seated seats. And I was like, that's not worth it at all. So
yeah.
Plus, I'm not a huge fan of Suzuka, the circuit. It's not like I'm crazy about that circuit and I want to see all of it. So I'm more than happy to pay the 180, get to go to the race, and sit on the grass, walk around a bit. You know, I'll be fine.
Is that circuit in Gran Turismo?
Japan. Yeah, actually, it should be. I'm pretty sure it's in.
Is it in Japan? Or do they import it?
It's a tricky circuit. It's a tricky circuit. I'll just talk about it real quick because I know you're getting into racing, even though you won't admit it.
I'm a racist.
It's got some tricky
yes.
S curves. Well, it's a racist. It's got some tricky curves, like S curves, like back-to-back S curves. It also has what they call 130R. So it's a 130-degree radius turn, which I still don't understand what exactly that means, but it's basically kind of like a long turn where it's just sharp enough that you can go flat out, but you're on the edge the whole time. So just imagine you're going like full speed, full turn, and you're just barely have the grip to make it. So in an F1 car, they're going like 200 miles per hour around this turn. That's like a 90-degree turn, or 130 degrees, I guess, is the turn radius. And it's like, so that they're known for that. So it is a cool circuit. It's not one of my favorites. That's
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, I'm excited for you that you get to be able to do that. What's the rest of your party? Are they doing dumb things while you're off at the F1?
I think they bought some bus tour to some town near Nagoya, like some mountain town or some little village town. So like we're actually like leaving the same time at like 7 a.m. in the morning, but I'm hopping on a bus to the track. They're hopping on some bus tour to go to a village, and then they get back at 6 p.m., which is about the time that my bus gets back. Because thankfully, it's kind of hard. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional. It's kind of hard to get to the track. Unfortunately, like you can train there, but it's like 2 different transfers and then a mile walk from the station to the track. But thankfully, there's a bus company that offers a ticket for like $50 round trip, and they pick you up in the center of Nagoya. And they bus you right to the start of the circuit and dump you off. And then at the end of the day, you get on the bus and they take you right back. Yeah. So that'll be nice and easy. So yeah, they're doing a bus tour elsewhere. And then we'll kind of meet up again. And that's the night we go to Tokyo and then have all of next week in Tokyo.
Nice. I'm excited for you. You got to try to hit up some of those like super niche hobby shops where they just have like every tool imaginable.
Yeah, absolutely. I did hit up I forgot to tell you, so the mall last night, by the time we got to the mall, it was like an hour to closing. Maggie really needed a jacket because it's colder here than we expected, so we spent time at Uniqlo. Long story short, it's like 20 minutes to closing, and they went to McDonald's to order some food, and I was like, I have to go to these stores because I knew these stores were there. They had a Gundam store. They had a Bandai official Gundam store. And so I was like, it's 20 minutes to this mall close. I got to go to that Gundam store. And I start walking to the Gundam store, and I see a train store, a model train store. Yes. And it was really cool, but they did a good job of, it wasn't, okay, let's be honest. American model train stores are for old men who are like crotchety about their hobby, right?
Yep.
This was not this. This was like they had 2 big train setups in the store, and then they were like, here's the model train stuff and the cars, but then they were also like, here's a whole aisle of just like merch and souvenirs for Japanese train lines, and they had a whole bunch of stuff. And then they were like, here's like the die-cast train models, not for the tracks, and then here's some die-cast car models. So I didn't buy anything. I think I may go back there at some point today because it's like 5 minutes away and buy something. But I was like, this is really good. Like they had patches and stuff for the Shinkansen and all that. It was really cool.
Japanese trains have have very good looks. Some of their early steam trains. Same with like early European and German trains. I actually find American steam trains the least cool looking. Like some of them look cool, but like there's some like even the ones in like India that they took from Britain and all that stuff. They just have such like iconic looks that I'm very excited that you found that. I'm expecting a lot of gifts when you come back, so just I'm really excited just to get everything.
Yeah, I could do that. Because I keep seeing these train models, but they're not the ones that I want, but they're models that I know you would like. And so I'll get one for you.
There was something I can't think of it now, and I'll think of it as soon as we end, but there was something that I told Karen. I was like, "Oh, Ian's going to Japan. I should tell him to look out for something to see if he can, because it's from Japan, to see if he can buy it." I can't remember what it is. I'll try to remember and I'll text it to you. And I don't think it's something big. It was just like something random that I was like, "Oh, I bet he could find it there." It's actually probably something I'm watching on eBay, but you can go find these wherever they would be.
Yes, I haven't been to a Nintendo store yet, but apparently they're in the Gachapon in the Nintendo store. Yeah, so that was the other thing at the mall that I had to quickly walk past, which was I found a giant Gachapon store that probably had 100 of them, and so I've been trying to like quickly go buy them and see what they've got. I've only done one or two because I'm not doing all of them. I'm just looking for ones that have the stuff that I like. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, are you past your breakfast window? Do you need to head out?
Yeah, I'll leave momentarily, but I'll hang around so Kyle hops on, and I know we don't have a local chat next week, but for all you folks, I will definitely have another report on the second half of the trip when I'm back in 2 weeks for the next local chat.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to come back. It's funny, you had been away, and Jake had posted the schedule, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks good." And then Jake had added you, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's weird. Ian didn't respond." And then I went, "Oh wait, Ian's in Japan." And then I went, "Oh wait, Jake posted Atomfall. Fuck." So I was like, "Oh, we're not playing Minecraft, and Ian's away." So I was like, "Wait, who can do?"
You could have played Minecraft. Yeah,
I know I could have played Minecraft. I did play Atomfall. I don't know if you caught any of that stream, but I killed the introductory character immediately by accident. And had no idea what to do in the game.
That's good.
I was like, what the fuck? Hi, Kyle.
So sorry. I got to bail immediately for breakfast, but wanted to say hello. Thanks for taking my spot.
No worries. Sorry it took me so long.
Have a great episode. No, it's all right.
No worries.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good day. Okay, Kyle's here, everybody.
He's gone. No.
Oh, thank God. That rich piece of shit.
Why is he in Japan?
I want to say Maggie's cousins were going to Japan, and they asked if they could just tag along, like go to Japan with them. So they went.
Oh, wow. How it feels to be rich and white,
I know, exactly.
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
How dare they? Well, it's wonderful to have you here. How was braving the traffic?
Well, I mean, I was at the Phillies game today. Of course, okay. My new job is fully remote, except for today, in which I had to go into Philly for like a breakfast thing, which is actually pretty nice. And then we all went to the Phillies game together, which was great. But if you've ever been to a baseball game, and if you've ever driven in Philly, you know how stupid the traffic is. Mm-hmm. And it is like 1,000 times as stupid when it comes to getting out of the South Philly sports complex. It's actually nice, like for parking, but as soon as you try to leave, it just becomes an absolute nightmare. So my trip went from like, I sent you the screenshot where it said I have like 36 minutes to go. I had like an hour and 15 minutes basically of just slowly moving through traffic. So it was rough. It was really bad.
Nice. But well, I'm glad you
the
made
Phillies
it here.
won.
Hey,
they won.
Hell so, yeah. I love Phillies. Actually, I was going to make a joke about what sport the Phillies played, but I realized it is baseball. I'm pretty sure. It
is. It is very much baseball.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Thank God. That would have been really embarrassing if I got that wrong. Well, we're here. We chit-chatted with Ian about Japan a bit. He said his 24-hour scheduled trip to get there ended up taking 48 hours. They had to like swap planes, not emergency land, but they had to land in San Francisco and then switch planes.
Was it because of DEI?
It was because of DEI. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
They didn't have any pilots left. Anyways, folks, this is now the video game portion of this podcast. We're done with stupid Ian and his vacations. We don't like him. We like now it's the gay part of the day, folks. Kyle's here, and we're just gonna show you how to put a condom on, because we know out there nobody knows how to do it. Get the banana.
It's the Subpixel queer hole hour. Just
Subpixel queer hole. Look, I even have the pride flag below us for the Tones Bar Tones.
I thought you were gonna say I have a song ready.
I have a song ready. I've prepared a song. I've written the Subpixel pride song. We're gonna debut it early. We've been playing video games this week. Hopefully, I've been playing video games. I don't know about you.
I have played a video game.
What video game have you played?
Was one I've already played. So I was gifted The Last of Us Part 1 a couple months ago, and I just never checked it out on PC, so I was checking it out. I played that game a bunch. It's not really, nothing about it is new. It's really just like I wanted to see how the visuals held up and how the remastered version is, because I only ever played the original like PS three version, PS4. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so long ago. But I did actually play another game. It's called So to Speak, and it's been on my wish list for a very long time. It is coincidentally a Japanese language learning game. So it is sort of a top-down, kind of like almost like a GBA like side scroller sort of thing. Ooh. It's not fully side scroller, but you actually drop English words onto Japanese characters, and then you can drop Japanese characters like kanji characters onto the things that they are describing, and it's just sort of reinforcing the learning. And it literally starts with just you're on a plane, or there's like a little tiny cinematic of a plane, and then it's like you have to go onto the train to get into Tokyo, and then it starts like leaving the train station. So the first thing that you learn is like station, or like train, or like bridge, or like how do I get to XYZ. But it's really cool. I don't think it's meant to. It's more meant to like supplant the active sort of learning that you're supposed to do while attempting to learn, especially Japanese. It just help you be a little bit more immersed in that. But it's really cool. I like it. It's got a really kind of cute pixel art style sort of thing. The music is like fittingly sort of like just nice and calming. Mm-hmm. It's a good little game. It's cute. Yeah. And
it looks like an educational game. It looks like an educational game we would play on the computer in like the 90s, early 2000s, but it's for Japanese.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's neat. Yeah,
I recommend it. It's on sale. It's like $16 or something like that. It's cool.
Yeah, So to Speak. That looks really neat. That's exciting. I like that. I have been playing some video games this week. Karen and I finished off Split Fiction, which was very fun.
Thoughts?
I think it hits sort of some good narrative points towards the end. I think it's what it does with one of the characters is really neat, and it's cool and fun and emotional. But there's so many issues with the overall narrative. I think they chose a weird person to be the villain. I think they should have made they were kind of hyping up one of the characters as being like, oh, this girl's got problems. She's a mean girl, and something's up with her dad who's sick, and she hates healthcare and all this sort of stuff. And like, I think ultimately her sort of overcoming that, I think, should have been the villain of the game. And then after she overcomes that, you're kind of like thrust into this other situation where you're like, oh, maybe that wasn't the villain all along. And I think them trying to make the CEO of the company who trapped them to steal their ideas the bad guy, who just like I've said this before, but like won't kill 2 women, but he'll like destroy his company and lock the National Guard out of the building. And I'm not saying he should kill the 2 women, but if he's already doing horrible shit, why is he just not pushing, like killing them and getting them out of his shitty machine? You know, it's just like this weird.
It's one of those like narrative contrivances where it's like, well, we can't have him kill them, but he can be really bad.
Right.
He could be like Hitler in all other aspects aside from killing these 2 women.
It's like a villain in a movie. You're like, why didn't you just kill that person instead of keeping them hostage? And like there was no reason. So and if there was a reason, they just weren't saying it. It was weird. But overall, the game was really fun. All of the levels were fun. I had said this to Karen early on. I think the second half of the game is much more fun than the first half. And it also felt, a lot of these things felt like they were things they had for other games, and they just like came up with a narrative to put them all together. So like It Takes Two, it just made so much sense to have all that stuff. You were like little and you were in all these worlds, and they were divorced couples, so they had this established relationship and all this sort of stuff. And in this game, it just came off a little awkward. So I still highly recommend it if you like co-op games.
It's the first very sort of down the line take I've heard, because everything else I've heard about this game has just been super positive, to the point where, and I've never played It Takes Two. I've never played any of the studio's other games. So I basically, my friend Al, who lives in Brazil, who I play Elden Ring with, we were kind of looking for another game to do co-op, and I was like, oh, well, let's do Split Fiction. It looks cool. But yours is the first take that I've heard that's been like, it seems like more even keeled, or like everyone else has just been like lathering like praise on it, and I'm like,
it just it's funny too, because people were pretty iffy on It Takes Two as far as like its narrative, but I loved It Takes Two's narrative. And you can go back on Subpixel and look how many times I said I didn't want to play that game because it was like about couples in turmoil and divorce and stuff. And I think at that time in my relationship maturity, I wasn't ready to like deal with that sort of stuff, because I didn't even want to think about that sort of stuff. But now that and I'm not saying I was in a bad place relationship, but it's just like, you know, there's just things you just don't want to think about. And I think that game didn't make me think.
You were
about
dating Ian.
Yeah, I was dating Ian
and dating Karen. Yeah.
That game didn't do it in a way that would be like, ugh, I don't want to play a game about this. It did it in a way that was fun and engaging. All of the puzzles were cool, and like every area in that game just felt so well put together. There were so many extra things to do. I mean, that's where Karen and I played chess for like 3 hours. In one of the levels, there's just a chess board you can play. And this game felt like a little bit stepped down, and it felt like they wanted to rush a game out after It Takes Two. I also can't prove this, and I could take the time to, and I might, but it felt like they included mechanics from every Game of the Year winner in this game, like level types, and it was really weird. Like there's like a very like Diablo, a Hades style level. There's just, and of course I can't think of any Game of the Year winners right now, but there's like an Elden Ring sort of area. There were, and not just Easter eggs, but like the gameplay of those sort of games. Which they've done before. They do that in their games, but it's just interesting to like, it felt very deja vu-y when I was playing it, being like, I've played a game like this before.
Like it didn't feel like naturalistic. It was like, oh, they're emulating something specific, right?
And well, no, not in a bad way, I should say. It just felt like,
okay. I thought you were saying it as like a negative.
No, not in a bad way. It just felt like this feels so much like another thing. They must be referencing something, and I'm like, it's like when you can't think of the reference, you know. And again, they do that in their other games, just like fun little Easter eggs and like references to, and they grab other people's gameplay styles and like add it to their own and like make puzzles out of it. So it just kind of felt like that on a couple of them. But overall, it was really fun, and I recommend it. We're always on the lookout for couch co-op games because Karen and I like to play couch co-op, and yeah, it was fun. Cool. After we finished that, we went back and finished Unravel 2. We had like 2 levels left in it, which I didn't realize. We started in March 2023 and finished.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. That game's okay. It's fun. It's cute. You're little string people. But the game I've been playing the most, 36 hours in this game, is Assassin's Creed Shadows. I was thinking of you, Kyle, because I was just like, I feel like I'm in the Kyle hole of like, was it Odyssey you finished?
Odyssey.
Yeah, I was like, I've fallen into this Kyle hole of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It just Shadow, and I only played a little bit of Origins. I own Valhalla. I played a tiny bit as well. I've never touched Odyssey, but it just felt like in this new Assassin's Creed game, it has that Elden Ring quality of like, I don't want to do this thing right now, so I'm going to go do a different thing. And it very much
free to just
do whatever I want. They've got these huge objective boards with all the people you need to kill, all the quests. Every city has like all sorts of shit to do, all the castles you have to go conquer, and all this sort of stuff. So I've just been like when I want to plow through the main story, and when I don't want to, I just ride across the map and discover areas. I have found so many targets because there's like all these sub hit rings of like people that you have to kill. So one guy will be like, there's the Iron Claw gang that I need you to kill. And I'll just ride around. You use your little investigative vision. You see like a little blue dot and you go over to it because that's like indication of a quest or like a part of a quest. And half the time it'll be like, oh no, this is just a guy who's on a hit list that I haven't discovered yet. And I can just go assassinate him. And now I've filled that out. It's very cool. The narrative again is okay so far. It feels like a game entirely designed for Naue, and then they said, what if we put Yasuke in it? Yeah. And you're like, why did you put Yasuke in it? He's not fun to play as. I rarely ever play as him. The whole world is built for her, and when you spawn as him on like a fast travel point, he's like teetering on the high up altitude. When you jump into the haystack, he's like and like slams into it and rolls over. If you try to cross like a rope, he like breaks and falls. He's just so slow and lumbering, and if this game wasn't Assassin's Creed, I'd be okay with it. But it's just like, I have so many mastery points for him. I've just not put into his tree because I have no idea what any of his shit does, and I really don't care. And he's a cool character. He's neat. I just don't understand why I need to play as him. Yeah.
I mean, it feels like they in the middle of doing like I'm sure the buckets and buckets of research that they did. Yasuke, by all accounts, was a real person. Yeah. Obviously, the story that they're telling is fictionalized, but they're using his likeness so far as they can tell. But like, it just feels everything that I've read and seen about reviews for Shadows has been Naue is the way to go, and it feels like she's the way to go. And everything about Yasuke, are there like missions where you're forced into playing one or the other? Yeah, he has
certain quests.
Yeah, and people pretty much have said like they kind of try to just mainline Naue as much as they can, and like they deal with the Yasuke missions as they come up. And I know particularly Skill Up was saying, and I tend to fall into not 100%. I don't agree with him, but like a lot of his takes, it's like especially narrative stuff. I'm very much in line with how he appreciates like game narratives and what devs are trying to do, especially when they're dealing with multiple main characters. Mm-hmm. He was very much like Naue feels like the main character and Yasuke does not in a way that like is kind of shoehorned into the narrative, but also just straight up gameplay. He doesn't feel good to play. And that has been like a consistent through line with a lot of the reviews that I've seen. I have not played an Assassin's Creed game since Odyssey, which did have a dual main character, but it was just based on male or female. Like that's all it was. It played, I think, exactly the same. There might have been like a few differences, but the problem with that game was that it just never ended. It just kept going. I pulled it up on Steam. I have 140 hours in that game. Yeah. And the last like 50 hours is just DLC. Which you would be like, oh, that sounds like great value for money. It's not. Like it's really not. So I had heard, and how far into Shadows are you? Because I heard it's like 40 hours.
I'm 36 hours in. I have like 3 targets left on the center thing, which is like the Shinbakufu, who are like the bad guys. So I don't know how much of that. I don't know if there's like another thing after that, or those are all the people. So I have that, and then I've just like tons and tons of other quests and shit that are popped up. The hideout management and like all of your allies and everything like that. It's, and again, like, I think Yasuke is a good character, but like you said, just playing as him, if it was a game where you played as him and only him, I think that would be fun. It'd be fun, like Assassin's Creed side story, where like,
and
almost
if they
like
tailored the gameplay to him,
almost like the Black Flag one, where he's not really an assassin, he just found the thing, and you're like, and again, like, all of the stuff about like people bitching about Yasuke and all that sort of shit, like, these games aren't historically accurate, and they've never been historically accurate.
Someone was like, one of the main plots of Assassin's Creed is punching the Pope in the face. And I'm like, this is what we're dealing with Assassin's Creed.
And the least of all that matters is the color of the samurai's skin that you're playing. Like they do a good job of setting up why he's there.
Real character? Like, oh my god! Like,
and they do a good job establishing why he's there, establishing why like Oda Nobunaga like takes interest in him. And they do a good job with that. But it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like, in any video game, why did you put this other video game in my video game? Like, I don't, or you're making me do it. So that's like the frustrating part. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. It's a gorgeous game. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm playing on performance mode. It is absolutely gorgeous. 60 frames a second. On Xbox, yeah. I'm playing on Xbox. I should say it feels like 60 frames a second to me. I haven't noticed it not being 60.
Smooth.
The only place is your hideout. No matter what, when I go there, it's like, this is an exaggeration, 2 frames a second. It is just awful. I don't know why.
Is it like the entire time you're there? It's
the hideout,
pretty rough.
The hideout is its own separate loaded area. And it is, even when I first ever spawned there, it's like, it's probably 24 frames a second. It's just so weird. It's
just
like,
really noticeable. They were going for that cinematic. You're in a Kurosawa movie.
It might be 30, but it just, from the 60, it just feels so weird. The cool thing is, every animal you pet, you can put into your hideout. So I just have
I saw the picture you
put on Discord, with a bunch of animals. It's really neat. I can't definitively say it's different from the other Assassin's Creed games, but I fell off Origins. I barely touched Valhalla, and I love Vikings. But this one is really fun. It's gorgeous game. Oh, it goes through seasons too. There's like two stages of every season, and it goes around, and your spies collect things when you mark them every season. And you get like these cool season animatics every time it changes. The rain is really cool, and it also feels like they took a page out of Oblivion's book, where they're like, "Hey, let's make cities feel realistic time-wise." Like when you're walking around at night, there's like barely anyone out. It's just like the guards walking around. There's like stray dogs and stuff. And then during the day, it's more bustling. It just makes me feel like I'm in Japan too. It's really cool, and I've also really been engaging with the photo mode, because it's just like, click the 2 sticks, take a photo. It's not one of those stupid ones where you're like, you have to hide all the stuff and then take the photo with the Xbox button. You're just taking photos. It's placing them on the map where they are, so you can go back later and find them. It's cool, and it has a lot of options for taking pics and changing your depth of field and lenses and all that sort of stuff. So
have you posted any pictures?
No, I that's the one thing. I don't know how to pull them out of the game. I don't know if there's like a spot where I can grab them all. I need to see if it might be saving them to my Xbox, and I just haven't noticed. I've gotten a few glitches and weird shit, as any Assassin's Creed game does, but nothing game breaking. I launched up a waterfall pretty spectacularly, and a bunch of other weird stuff, but it's been fun. It's been really fun, and it's a good game to play, so highly recommend it.
I definitely want to check it out for sure. I think it's been long enough between playing Assassin's Creed titles that I've earned, at least another go around with something that supposedly is shorter.
Yeah.
I'm also just really interested to see how it plays on PC. I know that there was some Digital Foundry did a really cool deep dive into the tech side of everything, where they actually got footage from Ubisoft Montreal. Is that Montreal was the one who made it? I can't remember. But whichever Ubisoft studio handles Assassin's Creed now, where one of the guys from DF got like the mesh shader overlay that they use, and just looking at the actual like geometry of the world under that sort of the overlay was really cool. And they also talked about how the different seasons affect like not just like how it actually changes the game world, and how like your character can move differently and stuff like that. That sort of stuff, like those little tiny details I love. And that really only happens, unfortunately, not all the time, but unfortunately, with studios at the size of Ubisoft. So like we expect that sort of stuff from bigger studios like Rockstar. Like the snow in Red Dead is still like, holy shit, like this snow is like amazing. 1,000 billion man hours probably went into making it that way, but it's really cool. So I love little details like that. So hearing that like graphically it looks really cool, that makes me really excited to play it. But I'm glad you're having fun. That's awesome. Yeah. I was fully expecting you to be like, maybe it's just because I'm so used to Ian falling off of games after like 10 minutes. I fully was expecting you to be like, yeah, I put like a couple hours into it and I didn't like it. But the fact that you're like enjoying it makes me really happy. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing it.
I'm definitely slowing down. I've noticed my sessions have been shorter and shorter, but I haven't done the thing where I'm like, I close out. I'm still at the point where when I'm done playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm done playing games. The sign of death with me is when I exit the game and just start a different game in the same gaming session. That's when it's like, shit's gone bad for that game.
Just switching the channel. Yeah.
So
see
we
what's
haven't
on
reached
TBS.
We haven't reached there yet, but it might. And then I'll do these last two really quick. Atomfall I streamed on Tuesday. Had a really good time with that. It is by Rebellion, who have made a lot of games. Most notably, I want to say Sniper Elite. Sniper Elite, yes, Zombie Army, the Sniper Elite games, and I want to say they made. Did they make that Alien and Predator game? I think they did. But anyway, Sniper Elite games. This is a first-person game. It kind of feels like British Stalker. If that makes sense. There's been a nuclear accident. It was apparently a real nuclear accident that happened in Britain, but then this is like there's like the stalkerification of the zone and everything, and like this weird area. So I spawned into the game, and there was this guy. I woke up in a bunker. There's this guy with a gas mask, and he's like, bleeding everywhere, and he's like, please get me a bandage. And so I go to collect materials for a bandage, and I walk back into the room, and I look at him from behind, and it just says press right trigger to take down. I'm like, that's weird. So I hit the right trigger. I grab his head, snap his neck, and he falls over dead. And
what?
And I picked up his key card, and I went, wait, but I don't know what I'm doing in this game, sir. Sir. So then I left the bunker, and the next NPC I met, I talked to, and he told me about the area, and he's like, yeah, you should probably get a move on. I said, okay. So I walked around behind him, and there was the takedown button. So I snapped his neck, too. And it turns out I found some outlaws and I killed them. And then I went into a cave and I found another coal miner who was very nice, or a coal miner who was very nice. And I bartered with him. I sold him many things to purchase a Molotov cocktail recipe. And then I walked behind him and snapped his neck. And then inside his inventory was all the shit he had. And I went, this game's amazing. And so I just picked all the stuff back up. Atomfall. I eventually went to a bunker, and some of the game opened up more where I need to go like find power cells back in the main world to like power up stuff. And then there was this group of, every time these outlaws come near me, they're like the like vision cone thing like shows up, and they're like, hey, get away from me, like don't get too close to me. And like sometimes if I aim a gun and they don't have a gun, they'll be like, whoa, what the fuck? And they'll like back up. But there was like no option to be like, oh, okay, I'll stay out of your way. I just need to get around you. Like they were walking towards me in an enclosed room. So I couldn't like get around them and be like, no, I'm just going past you. Don't worry. They were just aggroing every time. So that part was kind of annoying. Again, I don't know if the guy whose neck I snapped would have told me about that and perhaps given me some sort of tutorial. But yeah, it's weird. There's no main quests, it seems like. It just have leads. And they're not wandering. They're not categorized in anything, so it does kind of feel like that sort of stalker.
It's single player, right?
It's single player, yeah.
Multiplayer,
yeah.
Okay.
But so far, it's on Game Pass. It's been having fun. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Not to rewind. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I just paid for a month of Ubisoft Plus, and that's how I'm playing it. I didn't even buy the game. So, but yeah, it's on Game Pass. Adam Paul.
Such a poser.
Such a poser. And it's fun. Adam Paul's fun. And those are the games I've been playing. I've been playing another one, but I'll talk about it next time because I think I'll still be playing it. And that's it.
That
Kyle,
porn game, right?
Yeah, that porn game. I actually got an email from GOG today where it's it was like, hey, get these adult games, and it was those house party games
based on your past purchases.
Based on your past purchases. God, I wish I could. I feel like it's a certain breed. Listen, if I could get off and get horny playing porn games, I probably would, but it's just so uncomfortable to me.
The idea of doing that in VR, just like
that too. But I don't care about enough about narrative to like. Again, it's like it's not like I'm sitting there when I do the business. It's not like I'm watching porn. I get off and then I continue watching porn. Like I'm done. I'm gonna go
really
do something
into the story
else.
here.
Like I'm not like
I got what I needed. So.
Yeah, I'm like I can imagine these porn games are probably good if you're just I guess edging the whole time. I don't know. What are we doing?
They're probably great if you're like 13 or like
and your parents don't let you go on the internet. I guess if you're a big gooner, you can just sort of play those. Anyways, check out Kyle and Mine's hit series where we goon and play porn games.
I'm so excited for that one. It's gonna be great.
Oh, we have to be very comfortable with each other. Speaking about being comfortable with each other, the Nintendo Switch 2, Kyle, they announced it.
Talk about gooning on screen using the camera.
Talk about gooning on screen. Yeah, that did come up. I've linked here 2 articles. I'm using the CNET one because I think it actually has more stuff in it.
I don't. I never actually got the link.
I thought I sent it to you.
Document. I don't think I got it
in our chat. In our private messages.
Oh, you did. For some reason, Discord did. Oh, you know why? Because Discord updated, and I don't think it's doing. I don't know, something weird on my whatever. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I got it. CNET first.
CNET, yes. That's the one I'm using. So the Nintendo Direct was Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. here on the East Coast. They officially revealed the Nintendo Switch 2 console, 7.9-inch, 1080p resolution, 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen, which is pretty cool.
4K docked.
4K docked, 4K 60 docked, which is neat. Dock also has a cooling fan in it now. 256 gigabyte internal storage. It'll take micro SD express cards now, which I learned on the Nextlander podcast today. 256 is also the largest micro SD express card currently available. They are not quite at the 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of those regular micro SD cards. Supposedly, I don't know if that might have changed, but that's what Brad was saying on the.
They were. What I heard was that it only takes micro SD express, and in very, very limited ways does it accept other like older micro SD things where it's like transferring screenshots or something like that. Like it'll work with that, but you can't actually like install games onto it, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, okay, great, I guess.
USB-C port on the top, which is cool for charging. It just does the same thing as the bottom one, but it's neat to have it on top. We've known for a bit because of all the leaks, those electromagnetic rails seem really neat with the release button. The C button is a new, I don't know, Nintendo Discord, I guess, sort of thing, where you can chat with your friends, stream games to each other, watch what each other's playing.
The UI looks so much like Discord. It's distracting.
Yeah,
like the rounded edges, the rounded corners, and like it lighting up green around whoever's talking. I'm like, this is just a Discord like channel, server channel.
It's very strange. There's also a Nintendo Switch 2 camera, although they did confirm other USB cameras do work with the Switch. I believe the like green screening and stuff is built into the chips, the GPU, or whatever controls it. It's not on the camera side. So it'll like green screen crop you out. And the new Switch Pro controller has the C button added as well, and a GLGR buttons, which are for those the thighs of the controller, as I like to call it. When you slip under into the thighs of the controller. Jesus Christ!
Get a little tickle under there. Yeah.
And then this wasn't in the presentation, but afterwards in the spec sheet, $450 is the MSRP. Here in America, or 500 supposedly, or 500 with the digital version, or the digital version of Mario Kart World, which seems like a deal since Mario Kart World is supposedly $80.
Owie, that hurt right in the bank account.
This is another thing that says on the website. Again, there's rumors going around that this time around, digital prices will be cheaper than physical prices. This also has to do with Nintendo also revealing some of their games will come on game carts that download the game when you put the cart in, which is a little bit different from putting like a CD in and downloading the game off of that, like it triggers to download the game when you put a CD in, because the game will be tied to that cart. So you still need the cart to play the games. And also supposedly you could resell that, and then the person who buys that would be able to access the game on that game cart, and not have to, get it from you. But at the end of the day, I think the main thing to take away from this is pretty much everyone has moved on from including the game in the physical edition of a game. They're just too big Nintendo. Now. It's not worth the money to burn the discs or make these carts. So,
well, and some of them will still be carts. Like not all of them will be the digital ones. So I'm guessing probably all first-party Nintendo stuff will be the digital parts or whatever.
I think it just probably depends on what fits.
Yeah.
They did also announce some Switch 2 upgrades for certain games. They didn't actually talk about pricing or if they're free, but afterwards a lot of stuff came out that there's a bunch of them that are free updates, and there's some of them that are paid updates, and then there's some that are included free in the online service. So those include like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, ARMS for some reason, Super Mario Odyssey, 3D World, Clubhouse Games, Legend of Zelda, and a bunch of other stuff. Oh, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. I didn't realize that. Which is neat. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment they showed off. I guess you need a Dynasty Warriors to show off how many people can be on screen on your new console. I love that I skipped Mario Kart World, but I also need a driving game to show off how good your cars look. I don't know if you've gone back, Kyle, but watching the reveal of Mario Kart World in actual 4K, not the streamed version of it, it looks good. It looks really good.
I have not. I've only seen the stream version.
No,
I did watch.
Recommend.
Well, I did watch one other thing, but I'll wait till you bring it up. In full 4K, and it was
crispy,
very crispy.
I should quickly say Mario Kart World basically what the Horizon Forza Horizon games. Horizon Zero Dawn. What the Forza Horizon games are now, like the free roam and tracks. My touchstone is Burnout Paradise.
I was just gonna say it's Burnout or Mario Burnout Parad. I don't know how you do that.
Mario, yeah. Burnout Paradise, Mario. It looks really cool and really fun. Especially some of those are like, it's the Grand Prix Cup, but you have to drive to the next racetrack.
That's
which
pretty
is
cool.
Fucking insane. And then that like knockout style seems really cool.
That actually, it was almost like a bit like a battle royale sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're not underneath this line, you're done. Like it's a cool element to add.
Tons of new characters. Seemed like a lot more customization on clothing,
The cow.
cars, the cow. Hopefully my boy Baby Mario's in there. It just $80 though seems a bit crazy, but
A little pricey for sure.
Definitely going to try to get that bundle for the $50 version of it. You know, it'd be funny
if Nintendo allows you to pre-order it.
If the bundle for it, where the game's technically only $50, you have to buy a $30 upgrade to play the rest of the game, so you still have to pay $80. Oh, what a nightmare! And then
it's just a picture of Miyamoto going, "Give me money, give me money,
give me money." They closed out the show with Kyle. What did they close it out with?
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Bonanza, not Bonanza. Bonanza.
Bonanza.
That's right. New Donkey Kong game where he is literally destroying everything in sight.
Red Faction Donkey Kong.
Red Faction Gorilla. It looks really neat. I still don't like the redesign of Donkey Kong.
I don't mind him. It's more just like the movie.
Yeah, I guess I was
fine.
There's something, and I know I've looked at older pictures of Donkey Kong. The brown area around the eyes is still there, but his eyes were round before, and now they're like the tall, oval, cappy sort of eyes, and it just looks off to me. It looks uncanny is the problem. I don't think it looks bad, but to me it just looks off.
Maybe it's because I have never played like at any real length of time a Donkey Kong game, so I have not been like attached to his design over the years or anything like that. I don't really care. I actually really liked how expressive he was, and like he just seems like a goofy monkey, which I like. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, again, I don't dislike it. It's just like when you haven't seen someone in a really long time and they show up and you're just like, because they look different or something. I don't know.
I'm watching this in 4K now. It looks crazy.
Yeah, doesn't it look great? They also announced a bunch of other stuff, including a new game from Software called The Dusk Bloods. They announced Kirby Air Riders. Hell yeah.
Yes, finally.
I hate to say this. I did have to look it up. Because I thought I was going crazy a little bit. And I understand nostalgia. Nostalgia is king in this world. But Kirby's Kirby Air Ride, whatever it was called for the GameCube, got pretty middling reviews.
Okay. So Kirby Air Ride, I have probably sunk 1,000 hours into that game in a single game mode.
Mm-hmm.
I have played the entire game, but the thing that keeps you coming back is the City Trials game mode, where it's essentially the very first version that I can think of something akin to a battle royale, where it's a map, there's different sections of the map, and there's upgrades that you can just run through, and you get like more glide or more weight or more speed, better turning, but then there's also negative items that come up that detract from that. And the goal is to get the highest amount of positive stuff. And then at the end of the time, you can set the timer to be like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And then at the end of the time, everyone gets what ship they have and what items they have. And you play some sort of a mini game. If you're lucky, it's like the dragster one where it's just about speed, or it's the glider one where it's to see how far you can glide. every once in a while there'll be like a mini sort of like battle to the death sort of thing. But that game mode set the standard for me for like what is fun with local multiplayer. And we would have, it was me, my brother, my friend Jimmy, who has been on Subpixel a couple times, and then our friend Josh. The four of us would just play in 4-player multiplayer mode in Jimmy's basement for hours and hours, and we would switch between Melee and then Kirby Air Ride, and that was like our go-to game for years, like years. I don't know what happened to my copy of it, but because Air Riders is coming out, I did buy a copy of Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube that I will play on my Wii on stream for maybe like a couple streams.
Nice.
And I'll figure out a way to get it hooked up to my computer so that I can play. But yeah.
Did the price go up in the game? Because I was thinking, I don't actually know if I own it. I need to go look.
No, I think I got it within like minutes of the announcement. I just immediately went on eBay and looked it up. I got it for like $60, which is still a lot,
bad.
but it's a GameCube game that like does have a pretty niche but very dedicated audience. And I think that some of the reactions from people, especially like our age, who were like maybe like 13, 14 when it came out back in the day, it's like it really struck with a small but very strong core audience. And I think reviewers at the time, I could see why they didn't like it, but I think that with Sakurai coming back and directing it, is it Sakurai?
Yeah.
He directed the original one, and I think that it's sort of like, because it was at HAL Laboratories, and now it's just going to be under Nintendo or whatever. So I'm really excited to see like a perfected version of that, and also in like 4K.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I never played it. My GameCube games that I played at my friend's house, also in the basement, was Smash Brothers, Rising Sun, or Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and Super Monkey Ball 2.
I loved Medal of Honor Rising Sun. It's great.
So we never had.
I never
Kirby's
played Super
Air
Monkey
Ride.
Ball.
Yeah, see, the Super Monkey Ball was my Kirby's Air Ride, I think, because we would do Melee and then switch over to that, because I had a bunch of party games in it, and I think that's why. And also, like, the main complaints of most of the reviews I was looking at were just that it felt not finished, and I think people who have nostalgia for the game would agree. Like, it's probably like, if you were to look at it objectively, it's probably like a disappointment, but the things that were in it were super fun and like engaging.
I would say that it feels like how playing sort of mainline Sonic games felt to me as a kid, where Sonic, obviously, if you are into Sonic, it just works for you and it clicks. The problem I always had with Sonic was stuff was just happening way too fast for me to keep track of, which is kind of the point. And I think that Kirby Air Ride, other than the city trial stuff, all the other, like the story mode or whatever, like the main part of it, feels that way to a lot of people, where it's just like, it's too fast, there's too much stuff going on. And I know that a lot of people had a problem with the perspective. There's no like FOV slider, obviously, so you're like pretty much crammed in. And when you do like 4-player multiplayer on that, it's like, you know, you get a tiny little square of a quarter of the screen. It's even more so. But as kids, I think we just got used to it. And it just became, like you said, sort of part of that nostalgia drip that now we look back on it really fondly. I'm very interested to see what it plays like. I know there's going to be a learning curve. Oh, and that's the other thing. I was looking up some reviews for it that people had done like recently within the past year. And someone said, and I didn't realize this, but it's true, you basically only use the control stick and A. And that's like literally it. But it's interesting because if you tap A once, it's like boost. If you hold it, it is, I think, break or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And if you wiggle the stick back, you do like a spin attack sort of thing. But it's actually really like accessible to people. Like, if you have trouble with, you know, finding different buttons on the controller, you literally just need one button and then the control stick, and that's it. So it's pretty cool.
I forgot. I also, my GameCube, I did that SD card trick, so I might have Kirby Air Ride on there. It's funny. Actually, now that I have two cameras, I can show this off. I put my board over here, and I put that CRT that I just bought at an estate sale here, so I can pop the old GameCube here and plug it into this. I could probably split it and also put it on stream, but I think I might.
Yeah.
I've been watching some VHS tapes lately, so I might, as a little treat while I'm editing, pop over and do a couple matches of maybe Smash or maybe play some Kirby Air Ride.
I think honestly, the only thing worth Kirby Air Ride is the city trials. That's literally all I'm going to be playing on stream.
I'm excited.
So it's fine. Oh, and also there's random events that happen on the map where there's like meteor showers. There's like a huge like egg thing that comes down that you have to smash into it and it releases a ton of items. And then there's like there's like some volcano stuff that happens. It's crazy. There's like a bunch of sort of random stuff that happens.
Those were the days of like not fully fleshed out game modes where, since we were still kids, you were like filling out a lot of it with your imagination. Like my brothers and I would play a lot of Midtown Madness, but we would we would drive around and go crazy and stuff, but then sometimes we would drive around and like obey all the laws, or like go find your home and go park at your home and I gotta go to work now, and like stuff like that. So there were like so many of those things that you were taking I wouldn't say mediocre, but like, less like okay game modes in certain games and like elevating it to another level because Mochi pushes the camera and pushes everything.
I love that you literally know exactly what's happening. Just see my expressions.
It happens to you and it happens to Ian, and Waffle can't get to Jake's camera, so hopefully it's
oh my God.
One of these times I'm going to be like, and Mochi with the camera, and you'll be like, Mochi's not here. Like, oh God.
Mochi's never been here.
Who's Mochi? And then finally, they're also including they're adding GameCube to the Switch 2 Nintendo Switch Online emulator thing, launching with Zelda: The Wind Waker, which is which is great. I've never played it. I've always wanted to play it. Now I have the internal debate of whether
you never played Wind Waker. Wow.
I've never played Wind Waker. I own Wind Waker 2 times. I have the GameCube version and I have the remastered Wii U version.
Wow.
I think it's sealed too. I never played it, and I played one of the DS Toon Link ones. They're also including Soul Calibur 2, another game I've never played. I play a little bit of Soul Calibur, but
I love Soul Calibur 2.
It looks
Soul
so
Calibur
fun. I've
2.
always wanted to play Soul Calibur. And then
my
F-Zero
brother
GX.
would always play Link.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, and also they teased Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which is one of the most expensive games on the reseller market. Holy shit. I used to have that game. I wish I still had it, but
I feel like they did that on purpose. And I literally said to myself when I saw that, I thought of you and I thought of Jason. I was like, oh, I can finally like play another run of Path of Radiance, because I've done it through once, and I think it was Jason who yelled at me for all my choices, so I'll play through it again.
I would never do that.
Yeah, you would never do that. We're normal people.
We're just a little.
It's funny. I've been in a mood to play an old video game, and I'm wavering between something turn-based, which I don't know what I want to do, and a Metroidvania.
Like Rock Raiders.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Play Rock Raiders. We'll figure it out. No, I was thinking of playing Aria of Sorrow, because I wanted to play Symphony of the Night again. But I know Aria Sorrow is just another Metroidvania, which is the next Castlevania, so might as well try that. Any closing thoughts, Kyle, on the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal? Are you going to be pre-ordering one? Are you going to be getting one this year? What do you think?
If I'm allowed to pre-order, this is the first time I'll actually be able to afford, supposedly, with my new fancy job, actually buying something new. I think I was really hesitant to get the original Switch, and then my brother and sister actually got one for me within 3 months of it coming out. So it wasn't like I made the purchase decision. It was just like, oh, this is cool. That Switch was absolutely fine for me, but I know that I'm one of the lucky ones who didn't have to deal with stick drift and, like screen problems or anything like that. I think from what I've seen, I will hopefully be able to trust Nintendo that like they've perfected things a little bit more. I still want to know if they're using like Hall effect sensors in the sticks or anything like that, just because the amount of nightmares that I'm sure the executives have thought at Nintendo of being like, what the heck is wrong with our stupid sticks on our Switch? Like, why do people keep sending them to us to fix it? I feel like that's caused enough strife in the company that they should be like, let's just nip this in the bud right now. But that's one of the things we don't have any details on. So Nintendo is kind of infuriating with that, where they'll give you bare bones technical specs. And it's kind of like Apple, where like, a little bit like Apple. If you've ever watched an Apple keynote, they'll give you like graphs, and it's the most generic like graph you've ever seen. There's like no detail on it at all. I feel like Nintendo's like that with specs for its things, where it's like, oh, it'll do 1080p at 120 FPS, but there's never any mention of like what CPU it's running, what kind of, if is it a newer like NVIDIA GPU, like the Tegra chip that was in the original Switch. You don't get any of that information. All they'll say is the features and a few things about maybe like accessibility, like in sort of an ancillary way, or they'll just leave it at like the sort of highlights, and then you have to dig to find that stuff. So I thought it was a really great stream or direct, other than the US one completely getting borked. We had to switch over to the UK version. I was very happy with a lot of the reveals. I'm really excited for Kirby Air Riders, which apparently is coming out this year. Ooh. Which is surprising. It said 2025 at the end, so I'm like, okay. But I mean, I'm excited for sure. I would love to get one if Nintendo allows me to get one. I do know that for the signups and stuff, you have to register to pre-order. And obviously we were talking about this in Discord, but you have to have 50 hours of gameplay in the past year. You have to have paid.
You've had to have paid for Nintendo Switch online within the last year, and 50 hours on your account, not within the last year. It's to ward against scalpers. They didn't want, and they also
just create an account, and
they also, secondary to this, created a Japan only console.
Yes.
And then the multi version. So they're really trying to combat scalpers this time, which I commend them for. But it'll be frustrating.
I mean, I am at least happy that they're taking steps to do that. They did say that once they've filled slots with people that meet those criteria, they will open it up to more people, but it would be way more limited for the secondary people. I have a family, like a Nintendo online family account. I don't know if that qualifies for, like, because I don't pay for it. I pay someone $18 a year or whatever it is, and then they pay for the yearly family membership. So I don't know if that counts, but I've had it for like 2-3 years.
Yeah. I don't know. That's another weird Nintendo thing.
If I can get one, I will get one. Essentially is what it is. But I'm also not like dying to get one. I think it would just be really, really cool to have one. But what about you?
I think I'm going to try to pre-order one the same way you're saying. I signed up for that registry thing. I did it pretty early too. Like I did it as soon as that page came up. I think the direct might have still been even running, and I found it and registered there. So I'm hoping that'll help. And then Ian wants to come up for the launch, and we might possibly go to a midnight opening at a Best Buy.
Ooh, that'd be so much fun.
So maybe I'll get one there too, if this thing doesn't work out. So we'll see how it works. But I definitely also want one. I really want to play that new Mario Kart and some of the other stuff.
Well, if one of us gets one, we can all play Mario Kart together. So
that's true.
Do we know if old controllers will work with it? Like, will the old Pro controller work with?
Yes. Pro controller stuff will work. They have a whole compatibility list, and it'll tell you like what specifically is compatible. Like, obviously the Joy-Cons won't connect to the new Switch, but I think they do work on it, and stuff like that. So it is exciting. I will have to buy some new Pro controllers and Joy-Cons. That'll be fun. Nothing's expensive.
What are tariffs again?
What are tariffs? I don't know. Not even the government knows. That's gonna do it for the show. Let me hit the button and we can get the hell out of here. Folks, thank you so much for joining and watching this stream. Kyle, thank you so much for braving the Philadelphia traffic just to be here.
Filthy Philly.
Filthy Philly, that's what they call me. That's what they call the city, I mean. Folks, Ian Gibson was also here. He's in Japan, the Japans, as they call it in Shogun. He's there for another week, I think, so don't worry, you don't have to lock your doors for another week until he's back in America, if they'll let him back in. No, he's having fun there. He's been posting stuff on the Discord. Come hang out in the Discord. You can get there by going to subpixelfilms.com. I believe there's a link to the Discord there. There's also a link on our YouTube channel, our Twitch, and you can get to all of those at subpixelfilms.com. I've been your host, Will Crosby. We will be back next week with even more Minecraft, probably even more content. You're gonna love it. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.